My name's Paul Fitzsimons and I'm the owner of this 1997 Volkswagen T4. Bit of a project for me to sort of get up and running, to be able to get out and about for weekends, overnight stops and just day trips basically. Always fancied having one, opportunity come about and thought I'd take it. It's a self-build and yeah, it's getting there. Obviously these things never ever finished, work in progress. But primary reason for sort of wanting to get a van was I had a job several years ago. I was doing a lot of travelling around the country, North Yorks Moors, Peak District, Lake District, right the way up into Scotland, Loch Lomond, Exmoor, Dartmoor. So I went through a lot of natural history type places, and unfortunately, because I was working, I didn't really have the time to stop and have a good look. So ideally with this van now I can sort of get out and about, and because it doesn't go very fast, it's very much a case of I can ride along at a sedate speed and see what's going on. A lot of places I'd like to go to, revisit again, so hopefully with a sleeping bag and my kettle, I've got my pot noodles, I'm good to go. And yeah, there's say lots of places to go and have a look at. I've got quite an interest in natural history, as in geological formations and things like that, rock outcrops, and just how sort of nature sort of clings to the bare bones of rock faces and the most bizarre areas that you wouldn't normally think of sort of trees and plant life and wildlife to, you know, to live on. There's a lot of places that have been sort of basically disused factories and old railway lines, and especially canals, old canals and things like that, and how nature has moved in once man's finished with it and sort of reclaimed the areas completely. Quite lucky for the fact that there's disused railways round this way and that have been sort of turned into cycle paths and things like that. There's a network across the country. And obviously one of the Facebook groups that I'm sort of following at the moment is canals and disused railways, and some of the film and footage and photographs that get posted from these on the posts on the forums and things like that certainly make it a worthwhile journey out and about. Go and have a look at these places for myself. Say Mark 1 eyeballs, generally a hell of a lot better than the cameras and films, even though there's some wonderful filmmaking out there, but to actually feel it, to actually see it, makes a big difference. There's quite a calming effect as well. Stresses and strains of today's world, and yeah, it's just nice just to sort of step back a little bit, sit down. Not got a cup of tea with me at the moment, but ordinarily I'd probably pull up into a place like this and have a cup of tea and just have a look, 10-15 minutes, pack up, move on again. Previously I used to sort of drive all over the country, hundreds of miles each day. In fact, getting up 4.5 to 5,000 miles a month I used to do. So I used to do an awful lot of driving. A lot of driving around through areas, obviously out and about all seasons, and it's nice to actually see the changes in the tree line in the spring, where it starts to blossom, throughout the summer, and then especially the autumn when the leaves start to change colour. A lot of nice views out and about. My current job, I'm not rushing around the country as much as I used to. Get a chance to actually sort of just take note of what's going on, the field use, the land use, the tree growths, the plants, the wildlife in the trees and in the hedgerows and things like that. Quite lucky enough to see, because it's rural areas, muntjac, red deer even, late at night. So wandering across the roads without a care in the world. But there you go, that must be nice to be that way. Especially nice just to be able to sort of just take your time, have a look. It's amazing how much you actually see when you're up a little bit higher in a van. You can see over the hedgerows, and yeah, there's a lot of wildlife out there that you don't particularly spot. Mother Nature at its best. The good thing about having a van to ride around in is I can get out in all weathers. Walking boots, wellies, decent jumpers, nice thick coat, away you go. No matter the weather, doesn't matter, whatever the time of the day or year, there's always something different to see when I'm out and about, places to stop and look at, views are different on a daily basis, from a cloudy day to a sunny day. It's amazing really when you just get out into the normal countryside and you stop and you look, and it's amazing how big the skies actually are from horizon to horizon. And it really just makes you think, you know, how lucky we are to be in the scenario that we're in at the moment. The world's not been damaged too much, but it can always be better. But I think the wildlife will be here long after we're gone.